All right, shalom, shalom, Yasha'Allah, back with another GMS on the go. I'm Brother Nakam,
Brother Shawai,
Khan, and this is the Raleigh, North Carolina camp. Before we go any further, we like to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash.
Next up, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone from teaching us this truth according to the Bible who rule well, and a double shalom to all the sincere Akim throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth from righteousness and sincerity to the best of your ability. And me and the brother Shawai was able to get up today through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh, that's who the word ignorantly calls God, which his name we see Israel, he exists. And Yahushai being the only begotten Son, that's who the word he calls Jesus, which his name is he saves, he delivers. And we're going to get into a Lord willing edifying lesson today on nuclear missiles. It's in the scriptures, it's biblical. Nuclear missiles was going to hit this place called America. So without further ado, we're going to grasp a couple of precepts and prove that missiles are coming.
That's right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth.
That's right. It said, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth. So when John the Revelator was on the scene, when he was talking about the stars, he was likening the stars unto the missiles. You see, the nuclear missiles are the stars that's going to fall from heaven, meaning the sky, upon the face of the earth, here in this place called America. Read on.
That's right. Even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind.
That's right. Just like you got a fig tree, a tree full of figs on branches. What happens when it's shaken of a mighty wind, a storm? What happens? Those figs, they fall off at any given time from that tree. Well, the same way those figs fall off the tree and fall and hit the ground, is the same way those stars, the missiles, are going to fall from the heavens, the sky, and hit the face of the earth here in this place called America to destroy this place.
It reads on, verse 14, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together.
That's right, because when the nuclear missiles hit this devil eater White man's kingdom, what's going to happen? The heavens, meaning the sky, is going to be rolled together as scrolls. Because again, when those nuclear missiles hit this kingdom, what's going to happen? That smoke is going to go up into the sky. And it's going to look like a scroll being rolled together. Just like somebody's holding a scroll, and you open it and you roll it back up. Well, that's how it's going to look when the smoke go back into the sky. It's going to look like a scroll unfolding and being rolled back together.
Yep. It reads on, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
That's right. And every island and mountain was moved out of their places. Why? Because of the destruction of the nuclear missiles hitting America. Everything's going to be destroyed. Everything's going to be dissolved, as it says in 1 Peter's, or is it 2 Peter, just for paraphrasing it. Everything is going to be melted with fervent heat.
Yep, you get that too. As well. It's like it. This is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5, and it reads, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise."
That's right. Read on.
And garments rolled in blood.
That's right. So what is Isaiah saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashai? He's talking about basically how your ancient wars, your ancient battles will fall. Because what will happen? You have one group of people on one side of the battlefield with swords and shields in their hands, even have horses. Then you have another group of people on the other side of the battlefield with swords and shields in their hand. And the next thing you know, what would they do? Take off running, charging to one another, screaming, hollering, yelling. So the horses be running, the ground be shaking, rumbling. Soon as they get to each other, what will happen? The swords will be clinging one against another, making a whole bunch of noise. The sword hitting a shield from another person trying to avoid getting cut or stabbed, making a whole bunch of noise. You see, so that's how your ancient wars will fall, with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. And why was they garments rolled in blood? Because before and after the war was fought and over, people would be cut up and stabbed. Be blood everywhere, all over their garment, their body, the ground, So that's how your wars will fall, with confused noise, garments rolled in blood.
But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
Revelation 11:14. It said, but this, meaning what? This war, this battle, which we're fast approaching, which is World War III, is going to be fought with burning and fuel of fire. And what's going to make World War III the end-all, be-all wars, fought with burning and fuel of fire? Those 200 million ICBM missiles that these other nations have that they're getting ready to send over to America. Because if you turn on your news and you're watching, Russia, North Korea, Syria, Turkey, Iran, and so forth and so on, are gathering nuclear missiles to burn this place, America, to its smithereens, man.
Mm-hmm. This is finish it. Yep. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
That's right. I said the second woe, which woe means death and destruction, is past. So what's the second death and destruction? The second woe that is already past, that has already came and gone. That's talking about World War II. Mm-hmm. That's one of your former prophecies going back to Isaiah 42:9, just for paraphrasing it, that has already happened. Mm-hmm. It said what? And behold, the third woe coming quickly. And that third woe, that third death and destruction that's coming quickly, that's coming upon us as we speak, talking about World War III, which will be fought with burning and fuel of fire, as the brother just read in Isaiah 9:5. You see? World War III is going to be fought with burning and fuel of fire that's going to come from the 200 million ICBM missiles. Before you get what you get, Shawai, get me on Revelation, I think it's 9 and 16.
Mm-hmm. The book of Revelation.
Because we keep mentioning 200 million ICBM missiles, right? Mm-hmm. So let's get that.
Revelation
9, I think, verse 16.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 16, and it reads, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000.
That's right. So John the Revelator is seeing a vision. And in his vision, he's seeing the number of the horsemen, which horse means power. So the number of the powers that John saw, which is going into the nuclear missiles, the destruction of America, is 200,000. Now what's 200,000 times 1,000? 200 million. Mm-hmm. So John the Revelator, in his vision, he saw 200 million ICBM missiles coming to destroy this place called America, man. That's the 200 million. So that's why we keep saying the number 200 million ICBM missiles, because that's the vision that John the Revelator saw.
That's right. And if I can say, and you gotta use your head, man. You gotta use your mind. Like the brother just said through the spirit, horse represents power. What's the most powerful weapon that can be utilized right now, that can overthrow a country, right? In a war that's going to be, like the brother said through the spirit, that's going to be with burning and fuel of fire, man. It only makes sense that it's prophesying about nuclear missiles, man. It's not that it's not that hard to those who have been given it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And if you read on, I'm not going to get the precept, but if you read on down in the next verse, you have understanding. It talks about the fire and all that stuff that's basically going to come from the nuclear missiles. Mm-hmm. But anyway, get your precept.
This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12, and it reads, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem."
That's right. And what's the plague that Yahweh Bashmal Shah, that got a Bible, who the war everyone calls God and Jesus, is going to use against the people that have fought against Jerusalem? Chiefly the elect of the nation of Israel. Because 2/3 of our own people in these heathen nations, they're coming up against the elect of the nation of Israel. So what's the plague for 2/3 of our people in these heathen nations as we're going into these nuclear missiles?
Mm-hmm. It reads on. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Mm-hmm. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes. That's
right. That's what's going to happen to 2/3 of our own people of the nation of Israel who didn't take heed to these words. And that's what's going to happen to the other heathen nations, who are outside of the nation of Israel. Their flesh is going to consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes and their holes from the nuclear fire, from the flame of the fire.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It reads on, finishes out, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Saying their tongue should consume away in their mouth, meaning all these people are going to be getting burnt up. They're going to be getting destroyed by that fire that's going to come from the nuclear missiles. The 200 million ICBM missiles.
That's right. Think to Terminator 2, Sarah O'Connor, when she was burning alive on that fence, man. Right. Her flesh was melting And she was still screaming, man. Nothing's outside the power of the Lord, man. He can make you feel every single every single ounce of pain, man, coming from these missiles, man.
And real quick, that's right. When you get the next precept, that's right. Because you say he can make you feel every bit of pain, right? From those missiles. He is going to make them feel every bit of pain because it's in Revelation, just for paraphrasing, they say, and they should, in those days, they just the desire to seek death, and death is gonna flee from them.
Exactly.
So they're gonna feel every bit of that.
That's right. Yeah, you're gonna wish you were dead, man.
Yeah.
You know, this is 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 10, and it reads, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night."
That's right. Lord Yahweh, the only begotten Son, when he comes back upon the face of the earth, he's gonna come as a thief in the night, man. He's gonna catch the majority of our people of the nation of Israel, 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, and you heathen nations off guard, man. Because that's how a thief comes. He catches you off guard when you're not paying attention.
That's right. It reads on, "In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise."
And the heavens being the devil, this devil E, this so-called white man's rulership, his kingdom, is going to be passed away with a great noise. And how is this kingdom going to pass away with a great noise? As this lesson that we're going into, by those 200 million ICBM missiles, man. And why is it going to be a great noise? Because when those missiles hit, they're going to be loud.
That's right. It reads on, "And the elements shall melt with fervent heat."
And everything is made up of elements. Houses, people, cars, buildings, animals, you name it. Everything is made up of elements, and it's going to melt with fervent heat from the fire that's going to come from the nuclear missiles.
That's right. It reads on, "The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up."
That's right. So everything in this devil E, this so-called white man's kingdom, is going to be burnt up, meaning it's going to be destroyed, man.
That's right. That's right. And we'll just get a point.
Yep.
Verse 11, "Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?"
That's right. So seeing that America is going to be destroyed, seeing that everything in this kingdom is going to be burnt up, and done away with by those 200 million ICBM missiles, what should be you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans? And yes, I'm talking about you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, because you're Yahweh Shema Shah, God of Bible's chosen people, their chosen nation. So what should be your conduct? Meaning, what should be your what should be your conversation? Meaning, your conduct. How should you be carrying yourself? How should you be moving? And the way you should be moving, your conduct should be is in the fear of the Lord. Right. Having faith, trusting in the names of Yahweh Shema Shah. So that Lord willing, you can possibly of the elect of the nation of Israel and be saved from all the stuff that's going to come upon the face of the earth.
That's right, bro.
So, as this lesson we're going into, nuclear missiles are biblical, nuclear missiles are in the scriptures, and nuclear missiles will come to America. We could grab some more precepts, but we're pressed for time. So Lord willing, the elect of the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, were edified. Before we go any further, we'd like to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakodash. Next up, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and a double shalom to all the Sisei Akim. Shalom.
Shalom.